second ago I split that cola on my phone, just so you know what I'm sacrificing for you, all right? All right, so today we are going to talk about English phrases that native speakers use when they want to describe complex situations or simply in their everyday life. The first phrase is saying that something is a much different animal. And we're not talking about a zoo here, we're not pointing at an animal and saying, oh, that's a whole different animal. We're talking about concepts here. So when you compare two things, or you've been talking about something and then you switch to another thing and you say something like, oh, but that's a much different animal, you mean that that thing is a lot more different, okay? As an example, you could say something like, cooking dinner for yourself is easy, but cooking Thanksgiving dinner for 20 people, that's a much different animal. And in IELTS, for example, if your examiner asks you to compare school to university, you could say something like, university is a much different animal. You're completely responsible for your own schedule, you know? The second phrase is to buy a concept, and it has nothing to do with money. It's not like you actually have to buy something, but it's more about believing or accepting something as a matter of fact. There is a joke in Russian, you say, like, when the teacher asks you, where's your homework? In Russian, you say, you can, as a joke, you answer back, well, my dog ate it. So maybe you've got that joke as well. I don't know if it's a universal joke or not, but like, anyway, that's something you can say at school to annoy your teacher. But then if imagine you're the student and you're telling that to your teacher, and I can tell you back, I'm not buying that, you know? Or if a friend is telling you a story and it sounds completely made up, then you can be like, nah, I'm not buying that, you know? Alrighty, and if you're discussing solutions to a problem in IELTS, right? For example, you're writing a sentence and you can be like, many politicians suggest that building more roads will solve traffic congestion, but I don't completely buy that concept. That means I don't completely agree with that concept or accept that concept. By that I mean, sometimes when you hear something for the first time, a difficult concept or a complex concept, my God, then, you don't necessarily have the feeling like, okay, I agree with that, because you don't understand, what the thing is. In that case, you just simply accept it, that it is like that, and it's easier to cram it, you know? So when you say like, oh, well, I have to buy that concept, means I have to accept it as it is, and just believe it. So the next phrase is to have some extra wrinkles thrown in. Now, what are wrinkles? Wrinkles are like, things you get on your skin when you age, when you get older. So, I'm getting some slowly as well, right? It's unavoidable. We actually metaphorically want to say that a wrinkle is a small, unexpected complication of a problem. So you could imagine a sentence like, we had our trip perfectly planned, but us losing the bags threw in a few extra wrinkles into the trip, Or if you are to describe a time in your IELTS, a time when you faced a challenge at work or school, you can say something like, oh, the project was going smoothly at first, but halfway through, our manager threw some extra wrinkles in by changing the deadline, So it's a nice phrase you could use in your speaking. And the next phrase is to land itself well. When you say it lands itself well, then you expect to say to something, for example, to a task. That means that this something, like some concept or idea, suits the task well, If you are to discuss modern trends, then you could make a sentence like, the flexibility of modern technology lends itself perfectly to the rise of remote work. Isn't that a nice sentence? Because when you say it lends itself, it shows that you have an excellent command of the advanced grammar, right? Because you don't only know the phrase, it lends itself to something, right? You also know that it takes this preposition to something, and then you use another concept, you connect it to another concept, and it's a nice one. All right, so something I liked a lot and I found really funny is that when the professor, so actually how I found those phrases, a quick pre-story. I've been preparing for my automata theory exam, and I've been reviewing some lectures recorded by an MIT professor, a very famous man who even wrote a book whose name I'm not gonna spell out for you because it's probably not the field of your interest, but nevertheless, he's an American, right? And I am the best example of active listening, something I mentioned before in my videos. So basically, in one of the videos, a professor was making a poll for his students, and they didn't vote correctly, they didn't choose the answer he expected them to choose. So what he said was a plurality, but not a majority. He said a plurality got it right, but not a majority. And what I find interesting here is that, well, it's a funny thing to say, right? But it immediately gives you the overlook of like how the poll went, because a majority is basically over 50%. A plurality is, let's say, 40%, right? So if 40% score right, 30% score wrong, and then 20% also score a different answer, but it is also wrong, right? You've got a plurality, it's 40%, but it's still not, it's not a 50% rate, it's not enough anyway. So that's why he was like a plurality, but not a majority. I think it's quite nice. So let's see how you can use it in your IELTS. If you have a pie chart, right, where the biggest slice is like 40% or something around that, you cannot call it a majority. So instead you can say, looking at the chart, a plurality of respondents chose apples, but it did not reach a majority, right? So you can flex with that. And the last phrase for today is elaborate. Right, so as a verb, it basically means to explain something, like could you elaborate on that? Like could you explain that? Or like could you elaborate on the budget? Could you tell me what the budget looks like? Right, but how can you use it in your IELTS? Well, during the speaking exam, they could actually ask you, could you elaborate on that? Basically like, please tell me, basically meaning, please tell me more about that, right? Or you can even use it as your word filler when you say something, when you express an idea, but then you feel like, oh, maybe it wasn't that clear, or not as clear as I wanted it to be. So that my idea comes across, I might want to elaborate on that. And I'd be like, wait a sec, let me elaborate on that, or let me elaborate on what I mean by saying that, right? And you're basically saying, well, let me explain what I'm trying to tell you, right? So I hope this was useful. I hope you can actually use those phrases in your either everyday life or in your IELTS. Right, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see part 2, because I've got more phrases coming. Bye bye.